We have basically two enemies, Esau and Ishmael. Ishmael and Yitzchak, Esau and Yaakov. In the end, before Mashiach comes, V'olu Mashiach b'har Tzion lishbetis har Esau, Esau has to do tshuva, Ishmael has to do tshuva, and then the world can settle down. So we know that there are 4 Goliaths. But the Arizal says that actually there's a 5th. And that is Golus Yishmael. And that's the hardest of them all because he has a lot of schusim. Ishmael has, first of all, they never got into Avodah Zarah. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
They pray a lot. They're circumcised. They got a lot positive, right? So it's going to be much harder for them to do tshuva. But let's understand the difference between Yishmael and Esau. Esau is a hunter. He lives by the sword, right? That's what Torah says, clearly. Al charbu chatichya, you live by the sword, and he's an ish soda, yedei tzayid. He's a hunter. Interesting thing, hunters love trophies. You kill a bear, you don't destroy the evidence. On the contrary.
Put it up on the wall.
Yeah, you make a rug out of it, right? You kill a deer, hang it on the wall. The more people see it, the better. What did Rome, who are the descendants of Esau, what did they do when they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash? They took everything they could take with them because they're hunters. And they made a big display, the arch. Right, to show what they did. Esau doesn't want to kill Jews. He wants to abuse them. He wants to be victorious over them. He wants to take everything they have. But then he wants them to be there so that he can say, I beat those guys. If they disappear, it would be a shame. Even Christianity never wanted to eliminate Jews. They were never genocidal because that would not be their victory if they can convert them all.
Right.
Ishmael is very different. Ishmael is not a hunter. What does it say about Ishmael? Pera Odom. He pretends to be an Odom. He likes to put up a good, he's hospitable, he's kind, he's generous, but if you don't accept his generosity, he'll kill you. But he's not out to kill. Why? Because between Yishmael and Yitzchak, the issue was not who gets to have Olam Hazeh and who gets to have Olam Haba. That was between Yaakov and Esau. Between Yishmael and Yitzchak, the question was, who inherits? The whole issue is inheritance. That explains everything. If there is one Jewish child anywhere in the world, he inherits Eretz Yisrael. If it's an inheritance, you don't have to be of an adult. A baby inherits. And it doesn't have to do anything to inherit. If you are the heir, you inherit. The land is Avraham's land. Everybody agrees. Now the question is, who inherits Avraham's land? So what does it say in the Torah?
Ki bi Yitzchak.
Ki lo yirash ben ha'oma hazes im beni im Yitzchak. Okay, that was a declaration of war. Oh boy. I am not going to inherit. To Esau, attacking Jews is a challenge. To Ishmael, the existence of Jews is a threat.
Sounds like it's like a family fight over inheritance.
But look at how now everything makes so much sense. Israel says, shouldn't, but does, we'll give you the West Bank, we'll give you Gush Katif, we'll give you your own state.
It's not good enough.
Not good enough. You can't give me my inheritance.
And like if we think about why did, Yasser Arafat during Bill Clinton's, presidency, why did he turn down, was it Oslo, right? The Oslo Accords. Why did he turn down? It doesn't make sense. He was giving him majority of what we know of the old city even.
The Barak.
Yeah. He was giving him all of it. And he said no. It's epigenetics, perhaps. It's going back to...
It's an insult. You're giving me my land? And you're the tzaddik? Even, I'll fight you for it. I will win, and I will capture the land. No. I don't capture my land. So it's not about the land. It's about who, not about what. Who is the heir?
We'll be right back to this episode, everybody. But first, a word from our friends at Town Appliance. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they said, so back in 1976, I was taking care of... I said, 1976? That's 3 years before Town Appliance came to the scene and took over the appliance world, because they have been doing their incredible work ever since 1979. And it's that season where we're using those ovens, we're using those deep fryers, we're using those dishwashers. Who has a deep fryer in the house? That's erroneous. Do you? I'm curious. Anyways, if you do, you probably got it from Town Appliance. Town Appliance is the go-to place when it comes to all appliances. And not only is it simple as going on their website and seeing what they have, seeing what they sell. My sister-in-law, she ended up on the phone with Town Appliance the other day. And she told them, hey, can you help me out? And they're like, totally, sure. And she said, by the way, I heard you on Meaningful People podcast. And they said, so many people have told us that. We are so happy that we're partners with them. And I am so happy that I'm partners with Town Appliance because they are number one at what they do. So make sure to reach out at townappliance.com or hit the link in the show notes of this episode. You can message them on WhatsApp. How cool is that? Message them on WhatsApp. Say, hey, by the way, looking for a new appliance. Maybe it's a fridge, dishwasher, washing machine, whatever it is. Give them a call. Message them on WhatsApp. Go to their website. That is townappliance.com. Arguably the concert of the year, Symphony of the Stars, featuring Benny Friedman, Avram Fried, Ishai Ribo, Shalom Lemmer, Mordechai Shapiro. There's going to be a special guest appearance by Shai Abramson. This is happening very soon, December 16th to Motzei Shabbos at 8:30 p.m. in the United Palace. That's 4140 Broadway, New York. Make sure to get your tickets right now at symphonyofthestars.org. This concert is benefiting United Hatzalah. And it's a Mendy Hershkowitz production. What can be better than that? Hope to see you there. This is going to be incredible. So if what you're saying, following this train of thought, if let's say, Chas v'shalom, the land was controlled by the Palestinians, and the Jews were given the same exact places they have right now, there'd be no war? The Palestinians say, oh, it's ours, and we're letting them live there. There'd be no war?
No.
Why not?
Because the existence of a Jew threatens
because the threat exists.
Right.
So then they're genocidal people.
But now you know why.
Well, how do you make peace
Not
with...
just for the land.
Yeah. Just
the principle of the matter. And that's why a single Jewish baby is the enemy.
But these ideas are not on the minds of these terrorists when they're committing terror. It makes sense, we're saying, I'll be Torah.
Superficial people are not always aware of the pneumius of what's going on.
But do you think they're acting based on the pneumius?
Yeah.
Pneumius is what drives everything.
Well, I think belief drives everything. What do they believe? And they believe it deeply. That they are the inheritors of Abraham. that Avraham took Yishmael to the Akedah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what they believe.
Yeah.
Put your question in the context of just observing Yiddishkeit. There's a tremendous amount of Pnimius HaTorah. Is every Yid aware of what they're doing? Are they aware of the yichud, of the shemus that they're doing when they put on their tefillin every morning?
It's true.
They're not always aware of that.
Did the people who went to that song festival realize they were dancing because it was Simchas Torah?
Exactly.
Wow.
Did they understand the Kedoshim that they were? People are not
Yeah.
always aware of
we,
their
we,
Pnimius.
we interviewed Yossi Landau last week, and he had said that the people who say, what's going on, Chil Shabbos, Supernova Festival, these people, when they called the terrorists, they found papers on them that they were going to go as far as Ashdod, in Bati Midrashim in Ashdod. The festival wasn't, I don't know if it was on their map. Those 300 people killed at that festival saved hundreds of other Yidden.
Right, but even that, he was being megala something in Chitzonius. What Rabbi Friedman is offering you is that those people that were dancing at the music festival in Pnimius, they were dancing Simchas Torah. They weren't aware of that. They didn't know what was going on. But their neshamas were dancing.
See, unbeknownst.
Sure.
Every action you do is powered.
Another getting off the subject a little bit. 50 years ago, the Milchama was Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
This year, it was Simchas Torah, or Shmini Atzeres. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so significant because for the rest of history, for the rest of time, it will be called Milchemes Yom Kippur or Milchemes
Simchas Torah.
Simchas Torah, Shmini Atzeres. It makes it so clear who are the attackers and who was attacked. In case anybody gets confused, who are the attackers? Murderers or rapists, Who was attacked? Yom Kippur people or Shmini Atzeres people. And look at, this is like the deep thing is, what was the mood after the Yom Kippur War? Like the next month or two. It was like a Yom Kippur mood. People were sobered. The first time, a surprise attack. Why, It was a very Yom Kippur mood. Like Yom Kippur lasted for 2 months. Look what's happening now. Everybody's dancing. This is crazy. Everybody's dancing.
It's a Meshuna de Gezach. We were just commenting how we're sitting here on the brink of Hanukkah, and we could smell.
Simchas Torah is not over.
It's still Isru Chag.
That's right.
We're still dancing Hakofas.
That's right.
And Hanukkah is all about the victory. We had the victory. It's Hashem.
It's all significant. It's all. Okay, so going back to Yishmael, it makes sense that they don't really want two states.
Right.
That's an insult. You're going to give me my state when I'm the heir and I'm the right. They don't see civilians among Jews. There are no Jewish civilians, and every baby is the enemy. It makes sense because every baby and every Jew is an inheritor, is an heir, which is the threat. But that also tells us what our reaction should be. Now we understand why offering territory hasn't made anything better, has made it worse.
It just emboldens them more.
Because it proves,
it's insulting.
Because it proves that we don't really believe that it's our inheritance. Because if it was your inheritance, why are you giving it away? You're feeling guilty. It plays right into their beliefs. And by the way, if it is an inheritance, and it is, we can't give it away.
It's not ours to give.
Because, first of all, it belongs to every Jew, not to 5 guys sitting in the Knesset.
Mm-hmm.
What is that called? The war
cabinet?
The war cabinet?
Yeah.
But more than that, it belongs to every future Jew. Hasn't even been born yet. It also explains why the Torah mentions it over and over, and it's an inheritance once and for all. Say it to Avraham, and you don't have to repeat it. No. He repeats it to Yitzchak, and he repeats it to Yaakov, and he repeats it to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he repeats it to Yeshua. Torah knows our weakness. We can't stand up for our rights. So what would be the right answer? So first of all, it's like a stab in the heart every time an Israeli politician says we have the right to defend ourselves. It's so pathetic. Every kid in a schoolyard says I have a right to defend myself. It's just so.
It's elementary. Of course you do.
And it's not a right, it's an obligation. The whole thing is just pathetic. And then the only democracy how many times are you going to say that? And will you check and see if it ever got you anywhere? Did it ever do any good to say you're a democracy? Being a democracy in the Middle East is the problem, not the solution. You're living in a religious environment, and you keep telling them how secular you are. What are you thinking? What are you expecting? You know, insanity means doing the same thing and
expecting different results.
Yeah.
So what are you suggesting?
Oh. The first thing is we have to tell the world with absolute confidence we are the chosen people. Ki beYitzchak yikara lecha zara v'lo yirash ben ha'om ha'azais im b'ni im Yitzchak. Not only because the Torah says so, but because Ishmael, the original, admitted it. When Avraham died, Ishmael came to the Levaya, and Yitzchak went in front. Because he knew Yitzchak is the inheritor. Now his children, so to speak, his ideological children, have to realize the same thing and do tshuva. But our job is to let the world know that Avraham's children, not ideological children, ideologically we're not exactly his children, if you're dancing in that, right?
Yeah.
But biologically, we are the factual inheritors of this land. So back off. Now, how powerful is that argument? I can imagine people saying, oh, so you think you're the inheritor, so why will that convince anybody? See, that's because you're thinking like Esau. Israel behaves in its war with Ishmael as if it's fighting Esau. Because in Europe, for 2,000 years, we have been fighting Esau. Don't realize this is not the same guy? You know, the Torah says, Rashi, right? The first Rashi in Torah. Why does the Torah begin with Chumash Bereshis? The entire Chumash should start with the first mitzvah. To tell you that if the time comes when the nations will say, you stole our land, we will tell them, Bereshis Bora Elikim. And God gives the land to whoever he chooses. That's why we have the whole Sefer Bereshis. To show how the land became ours, because the Eibishter took it from Canaan. First he gave it to Canaan, then he took it from Canaan and he gave it to us. Same question. Oh, so now that we have that answer, we're safe? We're going to just get up in the world and say, haven't you looked at Rashi?
Ferish Rashi.
Haven't you have a Ferish Rashi? And you think people are going to be impressed? The answer is absolutely.
Really? Well, first we need the confidence. First we have to know what the Rashi says before we can stand up to the world.
That's the hope with an episode like this, is that people can have that confidence and that, you know, and not waver on this.
And have the confidence not only that you're right, but that when you say it, everyone will buckle.
It reminds me, I bumped into Baral Lazar by the aisle, chief rabbi of Moscow. And I asked him, how do students on campus respond to anti-Semitism? And his response, which I think is similar to what you're saying in a way, is if you put up your mezuzah and if you look Jewish, more and more and more, they're not gonna mess with you. If you start taking it off and you start hiding it, you go, oh, is that a Jew? Is that a Jew? The more Jewish you look and the more Jewish you become, and openly, they're going to be scared. They're going to walk away.
And it's such a simple thing. Bullies only pick on people who act weak. They don't start up with people who have confidence.
And sharks attack when they taste blood.
Yeah, that's so common. So I got to tell you this story. When Golda Meir was prime minister, she was on her way to the United States for a summit meeting with Nixon, right? So there was a press conference before she arrived. And the spokesman was asked, what are they going to be discussing? And of course, it was the same issues, two-state solution, whatever it was. But then he says, as a joke, he says, I just hope she doesn't come here with a Bible under her arm and say, it's our land, it's written in the Bible. Everybody chuckled. But Gershon Jacobson was there from...
Yeah, the Morning Tug.
From the Allgemeiner.
And the Morning Tug.
Yeah. So he said to the guy, he was part of the press.
Yeah.
So he said to him, would it bother you if she did come with a Bible and say? And he got really serious. And he said, look, we're not officially a Christian country, but if somebody quotes the Bible, we don't realize this is our strongest weapon.
Our entire argument is the strongest weapon. It's not but is the country now the same as it was then?
More.
I would say the country is right now more lacking religion than it was.
Yeah, Christianity.
Yeah,
but in the Middle East, more.
But it seems like America is a big issue here in this war. No.
You know what happened? Dinah was raped, kidnapped, and Shimon and Levi go in and wipe out the whole, all the adult male, right? Correctly. And Yaakov says, oh, now the whole country is going to turn against us and they'll all come attack. Nobody came and nobody attacked. Nobody liked Shechem and nobody liked Hamor. Nobody cared.
And nobody's letting in.
Shver told me a Meir de Gevart. He said first they had everyone get a bris milah before they wiped them out. So he said, why? I think he said from Rabbi Manis and Abshitz, he said, because if they would have killed out a bunch of Goyim, it would have been a big rash. First they made him into Yidden, and they wiped out a bunch of Yidden. No one made it. No one said boo. The world looked the other way.
You were stupid enough to do that, I didn't bother. But this is the at some point, I don't know if it was in the 70s, the Middle East, maybe after Khomeini took over Iran, the whole place became much more religious. They were moving in a secular direction, and then all of a sudden I was like, whoa. So for the Muslims, the Torah is holy. They claim we forgot, we don't know anymore. So we'll tell them, we didn't forget anything. This is what it says. Ishmael thinks he inherits. He's not like Esau. So it is the most powerful, the most convincing, because it's emes.